Danny, question. Can you show them some of the marketing that you do that is going to be free to them? For example, you do photos, videos, a whole bunch of other flyers and what have you. You can show them
I'm sorry.
actually bring it in and show them those
Yeah,
figures.
I think, yes, you should have that in your presentation. I can't believe I meant to basically unpause that. This is good so far.
I
All right, so you're close.
I have
Here's how it's done.
I'd like to
All
give
right.
it
What?
the marketing part. So Danny, you asked me why I'm free to you, correct?
Yep.
I should okay. So Danny, we sell homes all the time. Is it possible that just because we do in a very high scale, we would have we will have like a larger pool of qualified buyers that we could bring for your home?
Okay.
Now, again, just because we're in the business and we constantly negotiate terms and everything, with different expectations, is it possible again that we could, when it comes to negotiations, we could save you money and negotiate better terms and price for you, just because we do it in a very, very high scale again?
Now you're on the right track, but you're going to the center of the book. One of the things I want to teach you, and there's a line out of Braveheart. Who's seen Braveheart? Next Friday, I'm going to give you a free coaching call if you show up with half your face blue. Fair enough? Okay, so here's what Tanner's on the right track, but go back to the beginning of the book. I'm going back to Braveheart. He's got that line, hold. And I said many times, don't solve problems you don't know they have. And secondly, in playing chess or maybe checkers or anything, you've got to set up the move. So here's what I'm going to do. All right, Tan, I'll just stay with you. So, all right, so you want to know how I'm free? Well, let me ask you first of all, you say you don't want to pay a commission. What commission are you attempting to save?
I just want to pay one broker. I don't want to pay sites. Like,
what does that mean? What are you willing to pay?
Three apples. Let's say 3 apples. Yeah.
All right. And so what then if you pay a broker 3 apples and are you saying you're going to pay them to represent you or represent the buyer?
I mean, if they bring me a qualified buyer, I would pay them, and just to help me, get it to the closing table. And
all right. Now, again, where did I start? I started at the beginning, and I'm going to get ready into the airline conversation here in a minute, which is Delta. All right. The next logical question is, if he can't afford a real estate agent, he's saying he'll pay somebody 3%. What's the next logical question? What are you attempting to save?
3%.
I'm sorry?
3%.
All right.
Or $15,000.
Okay, got it. Now, is it easier to do a commission surgery on 15 or 3% than it is on 6? So that's the first thing. You've got to get the number. We talk about the airline, the Delta. So, hey, I can't afford an agent. Okay, well, if I brought you a buyer, would you pay me? Yes. All right, well, would you pay that agent? 3. Then what do you, now we have the game board. All right, so you're attempting to save 3%. Now this house, I'll go back to Janet's example. I think it's been on 2 weeks. But let's assume it hasn't not on the market yet. Let's say they're talking to an expired, or maybe somebody's thinking about going unassisted seller. So Tanner, let me ask you, when you go to position your home, no, hang on. When you're talking to a for sale by owner, you can use the word price. When you're talking to represent them as a listing agent, you use position. So Tanner, so you're going to be putting your house on the market. What price are you going to ask?
500,000.
Okay. And let me ask you, how did you come up with that?
Well, Danny, I've been looking at like the Zillow prices, and I noticed that they pretty much sell for whatever Zillow is, showing.
All right. So what's going through my mind is, hey, listen, if there's that statement right there, they're selling for what their Zillow is saying. What's going through your mind, guys?
What if it's wrong?
Yeah,
If
it may
something's
not be
selling at
based on the
asking
current.
price or published price, what do you know?
It may not be based on what's sold in that neighborhood right
If it's-
then.
If someone gets 100% of their asking price for their listing all the time, what do you know?
Price
That's
too
under,
low.
under pricing.
They have to be, they can't be pushing the market. They have to be generally low.
Mm-hmm.
If you always get, for example, if you're selling a $100 bill for 50 bucks, can you sell it? Could you sell it? And you ask 50 bucks, could you sell it?
All day long.
Yes.
Then what's the sales price to list price?
50%.
No,
50%.
Oh,
you're
100%.
asking $50 for the $100 bill. What's your sales price to list price? It's 100%. So here's the thing. So when you talk about your position pricing, so let me ask you, you don't do this every day. What do you do for a living? I could go down that.
No,
Oh, I'm an accountant. Okay, or I'm a CPA. Well, are you better at it now than you were 10 years? Yes. Now, I'm just asking you here that I'm not in role play. A lot of the market thinks we're homogenous, not like milk, homogenous. But we're not. No skill is. So let me ask you, because you don't do this all the time, and I'm going to get rid of that. Let me ask you. That becomes like a crutch. So, Kenner, at $500,000, is it possible, because you don't do it all the time, if you put it on the market $500,000 and it sells right away, is it possible you might have mispriced it by 1% or so?
it is. Honestly, it could be. I mean, again, I'm not a professional, but you know, the price.
So, all right. So what are we doing? I want you to imagine you're going to your favorite grocery store, Whole Foods, AJ, Safeway, Publix. And you go to the deli section and they get this big old slice of turkey and they put it in the slicer. We are slicing this 3% or whatever they're attempting to save, one slice at a time.
Mhm.
Is it possible a seller unassisted can misprice it by 1%? Okay. Now, maybe it's a buy owner that's been on the market for 2 weeks. What's their challenge? If it's still on the market after two weeks, 2 months, or 2 decades, what's the problem, guys?
Price.
Positioning.
And they're going to have to reposition. So they're going to have to lower it. How do they know what to lower it to? Is it possible they lower it by 1% more than they would have to if they used a professional? So there's about
Absolutely.
4, we could stretch it into 5, but 4 main points here. So that 3% they attempted to save is now what, guys?
5%.
2. They're going to pay the buyer's agent 3. They're attempting to save 3. That's what they said out of their mouth. 3 apples, 3%. I don't care what you call it. However, if they misprice it by 1%,
No, they've lost 2 more.
well, they've lost 1%. Now they've got 2% they're trying to save. So let me ask you then, what's the next slice of turkey off the block? Well, okay, so when an offer comes in and it's less than asking price, you're having the buyer the buyer's agent representing the buyer. Is it possible that a seller who doesn't do this every day negotiates a number 1% lower than maybe somebody else like me or a professional negotiator could get? You see where I'm going? Shh. That other slice of turkey, short, and I'm making this short, their savings was, they were trying to save 3. There was 1% on pricing. There's 1% on negotiating the contract. So now you're doing all this work, taking liability to save a potential 1%. There's another slice of turkey. What is it, guys?
Is inspections and all those.
Oh, slow down. You see, Tanner, you went to the middle of the book. You see how you have to build this up?
Mhm.
Oh, by the way, when it's a home inspection, I mean, is it not unusual that a buyer is going to ask for things and you don't have anybody, you don't do it every day? Notice I'm saying, is it possible that a seller, I'm not saying, is it possible that you, because they're going to get defensive. Is it possible a seller who doesn't do it every day may say, oh, don't worry about it. I was going to fix that. I was going to fix that pool pump anyway. You might agree to do things that you don't have to do. And oh, by the way, What happens if the appraisal comes in low? What's the first thing? You see where I'm going?
You're peeling the onion back one layer at a time, 1% at a time, if you will.
It's
And how many
turkey,
percent do we have to peel it back?
6.
Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. In fact,
2 to 3, max.
I'll give you this and we'll ask you for questions because I find like I'm doing all the talking. I see some hands up. Twins, is this making sense to you?
Can you bring up marketing? Like
No,
what-
you don't need to. Why do I say no?
It's just not about the price. It's not about the price.
Well, it's not about the marketing.
It's not about like the process, I would say.
Now, I'm going to back up. Is it possible that because of our marketing program and our reach, we have a backlog, our office backlog of probably dozens or hundreds of buyers, and then we send out these targeted mailings. Is it possible because so I'm going to change my answer, Maria. Is it possible that what we do as a company and what I do as an individual may get more than one buyer interested? Is it possible that could create the better offer for you, maybe by 1%? You see what I'm doing? So yes, I would use it that way.
Denny, what if they say in the beginning, if you say, well, if I brought you a buyer, would you pay me? And they say, yes, I would pay you, but I don't have the money to pay you.
All right, I'm going to be a smart ass. Well, if you went to the Eckarts, or no, they don't have Eckarts anymore. You went to Walgreens and you wanted to buy some Lay's potato chips or Pringles, which I like better. And you walked up to the cash register and say, I like these, but I don't have the money. What would happen?
You won't walk out of the store with them.
I mean, how many people can do that? Would you be able, or is it just because I'm this old and crusty guy that would say something like that?
Danny, I have an objection for you. I'm going to try to stump you. Let's see. Let's see. So Danny, I to my understanding, I understand, hiring a real estate might be beneficial to me, but I'm curious though, why should I hire you? Maybe I should just look into several more.
Several more what?
We'll do the same thing. Pretty much, you told me, pretty much all real estate agents will do the same thing, no?
Oh, yeah, I know, but okay, so let me ask you this. And I know this because my wife, she's my ex-wife, but I wouldn't go to that story. I would just say my wife was a nurse for many years, nurse practitioner. And she taught me a couple of different things. And she had a list of people, if, hey, something happens to me, here's the doctors I want to work. And she gave me one more tip. If you get in an accident in your emergency room, and and this happened to my wife, she got hit in the forehead with a softball, playing softball. Boom. I mean, she had 60 stitches. Can a doctor sew you up, or would you be better off having a plastic surgeon sew your face up?
Plastic surgeon.
So they're both doctors, but one specializes in results. The other one doesn't.
Right.
So let me ask you, which one would you want sewing up your face?
Obviously.
All right.
Thank you,
We got a
Danny.
minute, so I'm going to go into this. I want to be able to do this. Okay. We're going to go back to, I want you guys to get this, the better way conversation, the better way positioning conversation. I'm going to be the agent really fast. Who can push back on me? Here are the steps. All right. Strategically share what you know. What is that? You want to do your CMA, then give them your CMA. Here's what's sold. Here's available, blah, blah, blah. That's all knowable. There's no objective. I mean, that's the word I'm looking for. There's no subjective information there. It's objective. So when you share what you know in the CMA, what percent of that will be accurate? 100.
100%.
Because you're not making any guesses. Then also when you do your market analysis, can you say, because you're looking at the data you have, here's the range. Can we say that with accuracy? then should we know the trend? So it's past, present trend. Notice it's never, all right, it's the weathermen. Hey, look, this weekend, here's your 7-day forecast. You know, you have 60% chance of rain. Did they tell you for sure it was going to rain? No, it's going to be between 46 and 66 degrees. Did they give you an exact temperature? No, they did not. You bet on DraftKings.com on the ball games. It spreads, it's percentages. So Tanner, you've been Tanner. So hey, look, the data is showing, not me. The data is showing you the past sales have been between 5 and 545. Is that in line with what you're looking for your home?
Denny, it sounds a little lower than what I'm expecting, what I'm looking for.
Got it. Well, where would you like to position? Now, notice I'm going to the P word. Where would you like to position initially?
600.
Oh.
Okay.
So another seller smoking sweet and low. All right, so 600. It does not matter what they say there. So are you saying if we initially positioned at 600, you would work with me today? You would hire me today?
Yeah, and I hope you can sell it because
that's another conversation. What am I doing? Close for the listing based on their number. Asterisk, keep your fingerprints off it. That's their number. Now, am I really excited at this particular point? If the home is between 5 and 525 and you want 600, maybe, maybe not. But the mistake agents make is they get into some sort of tug of war before you get the commitment. Now, they may have been ready to list with you until you started arguing with them about where they should list. Don't, because you can't say it won't sell at 600. And if they want to try it at 600, by golly, if a doctor wants, like Greek wedding, if the patient has a rash and the patient wants to use Windex on it for a while, the doctor's going to say, fine. They have to be convinced Windex doesn't work. So what do you hear me with my silly analogies? What are you hearing me say?
You're introducing doubt.
Well, not yet. Not yet. I'm closing for the listing, but then I go into, okay, 600 knuckle bump. Now, do you mind if I tell you what happens next? Then I go into the outcomes. What do you think we're going to do with 3 outcomes? What are you going to do if the market says no? Now I'm introducing doubt. However, there's a difference in my position. What's the difference in my position? I have their commitment.
You're on their side of the table at the knuckle
Yes.
bump. Then you can share with them.
Yes, I'm not trying to get the listing in a low price. I already have the listing. I'm doing my best to counsel them on strategic positioning and what could be the side effects of them using Windex instead of getting a prescription.
Would you do that in person or over the phone?
In
Would you do
person.
No,
that?
whenever you can, you got to go in person. Now, again,
So you would
logistically,
get the
maybe
knuckle
if
bump
they're
in
absentee owners,
person?
you're going to go over the phone. Now, that's the essence of the better way positioning. Somebody give me an objection.
And I would say definitely to do that, even with if you're a buyer's agent, you know, it's about getting the deal on the table. Once you get the deal on the table, once you are under contract, we can negotiate all day long. That's what I let my buyers know. Once I got the contract, I'm like, okay, we got the contract. Now we can talk shop because we're under contract.
Is
So
your last name Grimes?
Yes, it is.
Then whatever he said, I agree with. Okay, whatever he said, I agree with.
Denny, if the house doesn't sell at 600, then I don't want to sell it.
Okay, now, all right, great. I love it.
Oh,
I love it. Not a problem. All right, so we've got a few minutes here. So David, all right, so I don't know where your mind's going, but this is where you should go. All right, so tell me why we're selling it to begin with.
I'm relocating to Costa Rica to retire.
Okay, so if the market says no at 600 and you're relocating, when would you like that to take place?
By the summer of this year.
Okay, so what are you saying, by beginning or end of summer?
Beginning of the summer.
Would that be June?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say it's June 30th, it hasn't sold at 600, what are you gonna do?
Take the house off the market.
So you don't need to sell it to move to Costa Rica?
No.
Okay, So why would you like to sell it then?
I want to get the most money for it I can. And if it doesn't sell in June for 600, then I'll wait till the market gets better.
Okay. Now what are some
Okay.
avenues you can go down? Again, that's okay. I'm not fighting with them.
What
How
if,
are you willing to wait?
what if the market never get to where you want it to be? Do that
Fair.
mean you're gonna keep your home?
Yeah. So that's one of those questions that might be a brick upside the head. So what if it
What if-
never sells at 600?
What if the market takes the other direction? What if it goes down more?
Okay, well, let's take one at a time. What if it never sells at 600? David,
That's a good question. That would, I would like to sell it. I don't want to rent it.
okay. Do you have a mortgage on it?
No,
Okay, so if you had the 600, what would you do with the money?
it's going to be my nest egg for retirement.
And would it be going up in value or down?
Hopefully up.
Right, and you could buy instruments to guarantee you a return, right?
Yeah,
Are you guaranteed that your real estate investment of $600,000 is not going to be worth less next year?
no.
Okay, and if you rent it, there's a saying in real estate, you don't know anyone until you marry them or rent to them. So take a good look at your house. It might look different next year this time. And oh,
Yeah,
by
I
the
don't-
way, when the toilet's not flushing and you're in Costa Rica, you're going to fly up and take care of it.
No.
So let me ask you, do you want this to, what did you pay for the house, by the way?
140.
So let me ask you, you paid 140 and it's going to sell for, let's say it's not 600, but let's say it's 550 or 500. So if you had walked in the casino with 100, let's say 200,000, now you've got, instead of 200,000, you've got $550,000. What do you call?
Yeah.
A winner.
Yes.
So my question is, if you were in a casino with a friend, he was up and he said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep going. I'm on a winning streak, but he goes and he loses. And every day, every roll of the dice he's losing, what might you say he should do?
Call an
Stop.
Uber.
Get up and leave.
Cut your losses.
Do you consider yourself a shrewd investor, David?
No,
Would you like to consider yourself a shrewd investor?
no,
All right, then would you like to be a nincompoop?
no.
Well, you're going to go and meet Janet's friend or a fan's friend.
Okay.
So what are you guys hearing? Did anything worthwhile today? I don't have to go right away if you want to practice something. This is mine. And the first 35 or 40 minutes, I missed the whole recording on. What would you like to go over? I want to be there for you.
Oh, I got one, Danny, because it's the for sale by owner. We talked about it, our boat, me and you, that I was trying to get. Now I got kind of a relationship with them, but they still hadn't listed with me. They were 6 months on the market. They wanted to overprice the house, and then they only wanted to pay buyer's agent like 1.5%. Like, I want to kind of go
Have you
from the
said, hang on, have you said, would you hire me for free?
That's why I came on today to try to get that, and you went straight into it. So that's what I'm gonna attempt to do when I try to call them this evening.
So here's
but-
the questions. They're going to pay a buyer's agent 1.5%. Don't argue on that. Then what are you trying to save? Most likely they're trying to save 1.5%. All right.
Mhm.
Well, if I did it for free, I'm going to give you a quick analogy. If you'll remember the story really fast, and I'll quit talking and you guys can finish whatever question you have. If you're talking to a seller that, talks about and I used this before, but I want you to remember, it's a great story. But sell it for free. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Your house need painted, and maybe a reputable painter and every year gave away one free paint job. And you won, like Publishers Clearinghouse, Ed McMahon's showing the balloons and everything. You won the paint job. They're willing to professionally paint your house for free. Would you let them?
Yes.
Well, what if there was a contest that was even better than that? Well, how can you be better than free? Well, what if not only they would paint your house for free, but because you won the super grand prize, they're going to pay you $5,000 to let them paint your house. Would you do it?
Yes.
So is it possible, gang? I believe it's possible, and I believe this to the center of my bones, that we'll put more money in the pockets of our sellers. Not only are we free, but they'll make more using us. Not everyone, there's some people that can do it. I mean, there's hole-in-ones and hurricanes. However, generally speaking, in a bell-shaped curve, there's about a 95% chance the sellers are going to do better with you than without you. I'm looking at every one of you right now, and I can only see 3 people I believe cut their own hair. And Louise isn't one of them. It's Brad. Brad's one. What else you have, gang? Oh, wait a minute, Gregory. I think you do too. Somebody, so what can I do for you?
I have a question. What if the seller says, if I am going to use an agent and you are going to sell my home for more than I can, but then you're going to take more with your commission? So the difference is just if I sold it myself.
Okay. Anybody have one for that? I've been doing a lot of talking. I'll let you. They want you to discount your fee if you sell it. Anybody?
Okay, I got one. What if you've been working at a job?
No. Hang on. We're okay. You're role playing. Go ahead.
Yeah. If you was working at a job, would you like to discount? Would you like to get a discount on the job you performing at work?
That's a good one.
Can I try?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who I'm speaking to? Maria? Who?
Yes.
Oh, Maria. Okay. So what would you mind sharing me again? What's the price you wanna sell it for?
So I know Zillow tells me I can sell it for 500, and I know I can do it myself.
I appreciate it, 500. And then
Wait a minute, that's not it.
Right. Can I try to do it? Denny, just give me a chance.
I want to be clear on the objections. Not doing it yourself.
I know, but he's trying to I sell it.
Wait. Maria, you changed it.
No.
You're going to get the listing and they want you to discount your fee if you sell it.
Right, Denny, can I just give me a chance?
Yes, you can do it. Hang on. I want Maria to be consistent. It's not you. I'm talking to Maria.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Maria, you got that?
It's just what my point is if I sell it myself for 500 and then Fan tells me that he can sell it for, let's say, 550, but then with his commission, he's going to take the difference.
Do you understand that, Fan?
So he's not working for free. He's still going to take money from me. So if I sold it myself, I would net the same amount as if he worked for me.
Okay. Well, but your goal to sell it for how much? Like, I just want to be clear.
500.
500. Okay. So what if I can tell you, I want you to drop the price from 500 to 450. What you gonna do?
I wouldn't use you as an agent.
Okay. So from 500 to 450, that's what a percentage? I would say like 10%.
Don't get into percentages on a conversation because you might be good at math, but most people aren't. Get to your point, but make it simple. If you're talking numbers, don't make it complicated.
Got you. What if I'm telling you if you're cutting you're cutting my commission 50%? If you were the agent, and what would you do?
All right. Good shot at that. We're kind of getting tight on time.
What
if we go in a bottom line? What if you're like, hey, great, what are you looking to net? Awesome. Anything over that, you pay me X.
But here's
also
but here's the thing. Can we
do services they didn't want to provide?
Wait a minute.
Here's something. So if you're going to net the same, the only difference is who puts in the work, right?
Yes.
So how much is your time worth to you?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm with Louise.
It's more than time, guys.
Louise, but what if I say
one approach?
Louise, what if I say I don't like real estate agents because I don't believe in them and that they actually do anything?
So if you were in a car accident and you're laying there bleeding to death and you didn't like doctors, what would you tell them to do?
Yes.
But I have a question.
But Danny, what if
Actually, I
they
do have a
say
response
that's
to that
different?
one.
Wait a minute.
Sorry,
Carlos,
Danny.
ready?
I
What
have a
if- what if-
question.
What if they say that's a different thing, Danny? We're
Okay,
talking about money here.
All right, what other than real estate agents, who else don't you like?
I don't like the way this whole commission is structured. I don't
No,
like
no,
it.
no, no,
We're
other than
changing
real
it.
estate agents. He's
Yeah,
going.
no, I
We-
mean, sometimes
it-
you've got to get them to, okay, so you don't like real estate agents, you don't want to use them. Who else don't you like?
We had it happen, and she said that I only don't like
Just tell me who else don't you like?
no one, just the real estate agents.
Okay. And if I had an offer for your house that's listed at $500,000, for $600,000, you would tell me no because you don't like me.
Can you bring me an offer for 600,000?
But if you're telling me not to, if I had a buyer that would pay you exactly what you want and give you a bonus, would you take it?
Yes.
So I guess money is more important than what you like or not. So can I proceed?
Yes.
I mean, you guys are twins, I think. All right, you guys have been good. I'll give you one more question, one more point. You guys still hanging in there? Go ahead, give.
Yes, okay, I'm running into a scenario that I take over the expired listing and then the buyer that put the offer on come from the previous listing. Now we have it under coming soon. The seller say, okay, we'll consider accept this contract, but we want to discount commission from you since you haven't done nothing.
Ah, I love that. I had, where was I? I was somewhere walking. I was in the airport coming back from Phoenix, and I saw this guy who had to be a construction worker of some sort walking through the terminal in Dallas. And he says, "You don't pay me for my time; you pay me for my experience." So sometimes this comes up, and so I would handle it here. So let me ask you, yes. However, do you think? So if let's assume I'm a dentist and your tooth hurts, and I could make you feel better in like 15 minutes, but the bill was $4,000. And I'll ask you, would you rather go to the dentist and the same bill is $4,000, but it took them longer to make you feel better? Would that make you feel better? So the point is, I mean, having the buyer, I mean, I still have to get it closed. We still have to get through inspection. We still have to go through the ups and downs. So the bottom line is, let me ask you this, and I'll end on this one. I gave my wife probably the best marketing idea ever. I'll give it to you. She put it into use right away because that's what she does. I just talked about it. So imagine going back, we remember this, and I forget what year it was, when the U.S. airplane landed on the Hudson.
Oh,
And then the newspaper had the plane on the Hudson with all the people standing on the wings, right? Now listen, any pilot, and this is what you say, she sent out, I said, Garrett, this is a postcard you send out, and on the postcard you say experience matters. Any licensed pilot could have landed that plane on a normal day. So, however, you never know when birds fly into the engine, and when that happens, do you want anyone or do you want Scully? So you're paying me to make sure we can land on time and have a smooth transaction. So anyway, does that make any sense to you guys?
Yes, yes.
I love that. When you putting this up on YouTube, then?
It'll take a couple of days, and I'm sorry with the first part of this didn't make it, but if anyone knows someone to help me with YouTube, I need somebody to help me edit my videos, because I'm really starting to put this into high gear. And again, if you want my stuff, go to my Denny Grimes Mastery, like it or subscribe, what do they call it? Subscribe. You can also hit a bell, I guess, maybe, but just subscribe and I'll make sure you get my stuff. And for the people, Fan, Brad, and Maria, I owe you guys a coaching call. We'll get that on, all booked up next week.
Denny, real
If you
quick,
need, go ahead.
did you ever send out that conversation starter for the outbound calls that you talked about this week?
I'm going to be, have to go to my, I was thinking about doing that, and I am going to do it. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you liking my YouTube page.
I already
Okay.
did, and I subscribed.
If you did,
Awesome.
just send me that you've already subscribed, and I'm putting it together. I'm going to send them all these slides together.
Sounds great. Thank
Send
you.
it to your email.
My
Danny?
email is coachdennygrimes@gmail. coachdennygrimes@gmail. Reach out to me if you have any questions, any needs. I really appreciate this group. Thank you. I hope.
Thank you for what you do.
By the way, before you go, did anybody learn anything today?
Yes.
Lot.
Where's my friends from Colorado? Are you still on? That's Denver, but how about Breckenridge? I think I made them mad.
Yeah, I learned about the seller's net. You said to be careful with it. I've used it before, but I appreciate you saying to be careful with it because I could see where it'd take a person.
I've got a good memory peg for you. When you think of the seller's net, I want you to think of yourself stepping into a net that's going to trap you. How about that? Love you,
That'll
Uncle Bun. Be careful out there.
Denny, before
Yeah.
you leave, I'm curious about the book. Is it coming anytime soon?
Yes, I'm on
Only-
page 2.
only the middle part.
No, she's already talked to a couple publishers.
Thank you, Danny. I look forward to it. We love you.
All right.
We got a
Hey,
first
guys.
draft. We got a first draft of the book, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah. I think I'm really, if you have any book title names, let me know. I'll give you credit for it. I mentioned it in my book. I'm thinking about maybe real estate, better way. Talking
Hey,
about the better listing presentation.
It's a good one.
hey,
I like it.
speaking of book titles,
Be
at
bold with
Costco,
it.
at Costco, a person, like the return person, said that they're going to write a book called Return After Reading. If you've ever been to Costco and returned anything, you've seen crazy things in that return line. So isn't that funny? Return After Reading, a Costco book.
Would that be a title for my book?
No, not at all. But for Costco, speaking of book titles, Return After Reading, because pretty much people abuse the return policy at Costco.
Who's still talking?
Could it be the Hudson River of real estate? Like the pilot, like the Hudson River.
Scully.
I've
the
got
Hudson
two.
River
One
of
could be
realtors.
Knuckle Bump, and the other one could be I'm Your Huckleberry. There you go. Those are my 2 votes.
Yeah, I gave you a lot of Dennyisms. All right, you guys. Happy hour here. Gotta go.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.